Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach. Welcome or welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this rectangle granny washcloth. It's a nice size. It measures 9 inches by 13 inches. And it makes it the perfect size for a washcloth to wash your body, to clean the bathroom or the kitchen, to wash in the sink, whatever you want to use it for. It's just a really nice size washcloth. And I love that it's a little bit different in shape. It's not your typical square, but a rectangle. And I used half double crochet stitches with an H hook so that we could make those stitches just a little bit tighter so they're closer together. Isn't it pretty? We'll talk about yarns in just a second. Now this is a easy pattern. It is sort of a scrap happy pattern, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, and I just grabbed this Jergens just because I had it on hand, and it's one of my favorite hand washing. From going out into the working in the garden to wash my hands, I like this Jergens because it has extra moisturizing. If you want to get it at a really good price, I got it at the dollar store, $1.25. I usually buy 6 of them when I buy them because I wash my hands a lot. Anyway, like I said, this is great for hand washing, dishwashing, body washing, sink washing, bathtub washing, whatever you want to wash. This is a great washcloth for that with that great size. Now you can find the complete pattern with pictures on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. Now to make this size washcloth, you're going to need approximately 3 ounces of medium weight number 4 cotton. And so I got in my yarn to see what cottons that I had, and I remembered that I had these 2 colors. I love them because this is like a soft yellow and this is like a sort of minty green. This one is called yellow and this one is called pastel blue, but it really goes more towards a green in my opinion. And I decided to do it in just 2 colors. And so if you're going to use 2 colors, of course, you're going to need 1.5 ounces of each color. But again, yarn is totally up to you. I do suggest using 100% cotton or a cotton poly blend. These are 85% cotton and 15% poly. Now I like it when they blend them that way because cotton is nice and absorbent and poly is sturdy. And so you get a good marriage when you put that poly and the cotton blended together in one yarn. Okay. I don't recommend using like 100% polyester or 100% acrylic, especially if you're going to use it for cleaning and things, because you don't want, it doesn't absorb well. But again, that's totally up to you and what you prefer. So bottom line on the yarn, you need a total of 3 ounces of a cotton or cotton blend yarn in your choice of colors. You can get in your yarn stash and change colors every row if you want to. Totally up to you. Now we're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5 millimeter. And then you need a needle and a pair of scissors. And that's it. All right, let's get started. We're going to begin with our slip knot. And we're going to loosely chain 16 chains. Now, it's important that this is stitched just a little bit loose because we are going to be stitching on both those loops to form that beginning of our rectangle. So we have our 16 chains stitched just a little bit loose. We're going to begin by stitching 2 half double crochets in the second chain from the hook. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over and go through all 3. So there's 1, 2, and chain 1. And now we're going to do this 2 more times, right in that same chain. 1, 2, and chain 1. And now we'll do this one more time. stitching 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, and chain 1. All right, so before we go on, let's look at this. We have 2 half double crochets, chain 1, 2 half double crochets, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets, chain 1, all in that second chain from the hook. Now we're going to work down our chain. So we've chained 1, we're going to skip that next stitch and stitch 1 half double crochet in the next 2. 1, 2, chain 1, skip the next one, 1 half double crochet in the next 2. 1, 2, chain 1, skip 1, 1 half double crochet in the next 2. Chain 1, skip 1, and 1 half double crochet in the next 2. All right, and that leaves you with 2 stitches on the end, and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets. Chain 1, 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget to chain 1 there on the end. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 2 half double crochets with those chain 1s in between. We have 2 stitches left, so we've done our chain 1, and in this last chain we're going to do what we did down here. We're going to stitch 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, 1, 2, chain 1, and 1, 2, chain 1. So now we have our 2 ends that are the same. Now we're going to work our way back down this way. All right, that tail of yarn out of the way. We'll skip that first chain and we'll stitch 1 half double crochet in the next 2. And these 2 should line up with the 2 on the other side. Chain 1, skip 1, 1 half double crochet in the next 2. Chain 1. So we've stitched those 1, 2, 3, 4 sets so they line up. Here's our chain 1. We're going to join to that first half double crochet with a slip stitch. Then we'll slip stitch in the next half double crochet. And then slip stitch in that chain 1 space and chain 1. All right, and this is how row 1 should look. Now, once you've got to this point, you've done the hardest part, okay? Now we're going to start going around. One thing to remember is we're not going to be doing the chain 1s in between our groups of 2 half double crochets anymore. We're just going to go in that space because we want our stitches to be nice and tight and close together. The only place that we'll be doing the chain 1 is in the 4 corners where we do the corner, okay? All right, so here's our corner. We're going to stitch 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets. There we go. All right, now we're not going to do a chain 1 here. We're going to go right to that next corner and stitch another corner. 2 half double crochets, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets. All right, so there's our 2 corners. All right, now we're going to work across. We're not going to put that chain 1 in between our groups. So we're going to go right to the chain 1 space and stitch 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. Then we'll go to the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. Now we'll go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. We'll go to the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. And to the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with no chain 1s in between. All right, so now we're at the corner. So we'll do 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. Again, we only place chain 1s in the 2 corners. All right, so now we'll go to the next corner and stitch 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2, chain 1, and 1 and 2. And so then we'll just repeat across here what we did on this side. 2 half double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces with no chain 1s in between. And again, we do it this way because we want this washcloth, the stitches to be nice and close and not too holy. Now you can't have a granny square without some bit of holes, but by eliminating those chain 1s in between, it makes a much tighter and neater stitch. All right, so we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of 2 half double crochets. Now we're just going to join to that first half double crochet with a slip stitch. We'll stitch in the next half double crochet with the slip stitch. Whoops, lost my slip stitch. There we go. Then we'll go in that chain 1 space and chain 1. All right, so that is the way that row 2 should look. We have our 4 corners with 2 half double crochet, chain 1, 2 half double crochet. And then we have 5 sets of 2 half double crochet on both sides. And you can see how that tidied that up and brought those stitches in nice and close by not making those chain 1s in between our half double crochet groups. And we will not do the chain 1s throughout the rest of the project except for in the 4 corners. Now I decided I want to change colors, okay? And so I'm going to take out that chain 1 and I'm going to bring in my next color. When you're changing colors, do that chain 1 after the color change. If you don't, you'll have a little blip of the wrong color in there. Like I'm using that blue, and if I would have done that chain 1 in the blue, I'd have a little blip of the wrong color on that row. Now I'm going to be switching back and forth, so I'm going to leave my color 1 attached. If you want to cut it off, you certainly can. If you're going to be changing colors a lot, go ahead and cut it off and you can weave it in later. All right. And I really love the combination of these 2 colors together. All right, so let's do row 3. We're going to do 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets in this same chain 1 space because that is the corner. All right, so now we're going to go in the space in between the next 2 half double crochets and stitch 2 half double crochets. All right, now we're going to go to the corner and we're going to stitch those 2 half double crochets, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. All right, So again, the only place we're putting our chain ones is in the 4 corners. Now we're going to go across and we're going to put our 2 half double crochets in that little space there that's between each set of 2 half double crochets. We don't have a chain 1 there because we don't want it there, but it's where it would be if we put it there. But like I said, we want this to be a nice tight washcloth, and so we're not doing the chain 1s. We're just stitching in the space between each set of 2 half double crochets. All right, and so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so what's going to happen is each row we're going to gain another set of 2 half double crochets on both sides and also on the ends, because now we have one where we didn't have one before. All right, so now we're at the corner, so we're going to stitch those 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, and 1 and 2. Now we're going to stitch 2 half double crochets in that space, 1, 2, and then we'll go to the corner and stitch those 2 half double crochets, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets. Whoops! There we go. And now let's see, 1, 2, and you do one more. And now we're going to work down this side, going in those spaces in between our half double crochet sets. So one, oops, I'm finding this yarn to be just a little bit splitty. There we go. Cotton is sometimes. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So we have those 6 sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And see how much tighter that makes that look? Just looks really neat and tidy. All right, so now we're going to go in that first half double crochet with a slip stitch. We'll slip stitch in the second one, and then slip stitch in the chain 1 space and chain 1. All right. Again, I really love these two colors together, this soft yellow and this pretty, almost like a seafoam green to me. That string out of the way there. All right, that is the way that row 3 should look. I think you're really understanding how this washcloth works now. All right, so we're in the corner. We're going to stitch 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets, 1 and 2. And on the end now we have 2 spaces. So we're going to stitch 2 half double crochets in those 2 spaces. And again, we do not put a chain 1 in between those spaces. Chain 1 is only in the 4 corners. All right, so let's do our corner. 1, 2 half double crochets, chain 1, and 2 half double crochets. All right, so now we're just going to work across here, placing 2 half double crochets in each of those spaces. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2. So now we should have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets of 2 half double crochets. All right, so now I'm to the corner, and we'll do those 2 half double crochets in that chain 1 space, chain 1 and 2 half double crochets. 1 and 2. And again, we have 2 spaces on this end, so we'll place 2 half double crochets in those 2 spaces. And then that brings us to our last corner. So 2 half double crochets, chain 1 and 2 half double crochets. And then we'll repeat across here what we did over here. 2 half double crochets in each of the spaces between our sets. I have completed row 4, and this is how that it should look. You have 7 sets of your 2 half double crochets on the long sides, 2 on the short sides, and then of course your 4 corners. And remember, throughout the remainder of our project, you will only put a chain 1 in each of the 4 corners, not in between the half double crochet groups on the sides. Okay? Now, what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 4 for 7 more rows, increasing every row. You'll increase by 1 group of half double crochets on each of the 4 sides. And of course, this side already has more, so of course there'll be more increases. But you'll increase by 1 group of 2 half double crochets on all 4 of the sides every single row. All right? So we're going to continue to repeat what we've been doing on row 4 for 7 more rows, increasing every row. This is how your washcloth should look after you repeated it 7 more rows, increasing every row, and that brings you up to row 11. Okay, and now we're going to do the trim rows. We're going to just do a simple row first of just single crochet all the way around. And I decided to just go ahead and keep my minty green or minty blue color for this row, and then I'm going to switch to my yellow for the last row. All right, so what you're going to do is in the corner, we're going to place 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now you're going to place 1 single crochet in each of the half double crochets. We're not stitching in the spaces, just the half double crochets. 1 single crochet in each of the half double crochets. And when you reach the corners in the chain 1 spaces, you're going to stitch 3 single crochets. I've single crocheted in each single crochet across that first side. I'm to the next corner, so I'm going to stitch 3 single crochets in that corner. And then we'll work across our long side, again, only stitching our single crochets in each half double crochets. Do not stitch a single crochet in the space between. All right? One single crochet in each half double crochet and 3 single crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces in the 4 corners. I have single crocheted all the way around, placing 1 single crochet in each of my half double crochets and then 3 single crochets in each of the 4 chain 1 spaces. Then I joined up here to my first single crochet, and I'm done with this greeny blue yarn. And I'm going to do the last row with the yellow. Now you don't have to, of course. Again, the color changes are totally up to you. All right, so I'm going to bring in my yellow. And chain 3. So this trim is super easy. We've chained 3. We're going to skip the next single crochet, and we're going to single crochet, whoops, there we go, in the next stitch, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll skip the next single crochet and single crochet in the next. Chain 3. Skip the next single crochet in the next. 1, 2, 3. Skip 1 and single crochet in the next. Super duper easy trim all the way around. And we'll go all the way around the entire washcloth and join back to our first stitch. I have stitched all the way around my trim. I'm back up here. I'm going to join to that first stitch with a slip stitch. Cut my yarn. And then I'm going to pull that loop to the back side and tie that off. And I do have to tie this off also. I do want to show you where I carried my yarn up the back. And if you don't want to do that, you think that's a little messy, you can always cut it off and weave in those ends. But I just left it, and you can also stitch over them as well. But I wanted you to see how it looks on the back when we don't cut our yarn. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple minutes and weave these in. Want to make sure we weave them in securely. And like I said, if this is going to be a gift, you might want to tie those ends off and weave those in so they look a lot neater. All right, so here's our finished washcloth we did with the yellow and the blue. It's kind of a minty blue, which I really love. Kind of has a spa feel to me. And then, of course, we have the pretty purple and green one. I love them both. And again, if you're going to make this as a gift, go ahead and tie those off and weave those in. It looks a lot neater than trailing your yarn up the back if it's going to be a gift. All right, so this is our rectangle washcloths for our Friday Fun project.